Mother's Day. Welcome to the fellowship. So grateful to be spending time today with those here in person and on Facebook as well. So glad that you're here. What a sunny, beautiful, beautiful day. Oh my goodness, love it. At the fellowship, we recognize all encounters as holy, and we know that our time together is by divine appointment. So I'm going to start with a centering meditation. So I'll invite you to just find a comfortable position in your body. Perhaps close your eyes or gaze downward. And let's just take a few slow, deep breaths in together and out together. And just noticing just the breath, that it relaxes more and more with each exhale, bringing us even closer to this space right here, this present moment, allowing us to not carry the hurriedness or the stress of our day with us. Let's set that aside. And let's bring in all the parts of you. Your body, your mind, emotions, and spirit. Welcoming you home to this peaceful space. Just feeling that breath moving into your body and moving out of your body again. And let's focus our thoughts on honoring our mothers, mother figures in our lives, Mother Earth, and the divine feminine, the sacred feminine that resides within all of us. I invite you to connect inwards to a place that you sense your truth, your wisdom arising from. And perhaps you may feel that in your heart or your belly, a space that you can sense your truth. And perhaps place your hand on that part of the body. Just taking a moment to honor the sacred feminine. From this space, connect with the parts of your nature that is nurturing, loving, passionate, and playful. The gentler, or softer part of you. The part of you that may want to reach out to hold a crying baby or to help an injured animal or a group of people suffering tremendous loss. Also, that part of you that has respect and care for our dear Mother Earth. And let's recall the time when you were loved and cared for by someone. Maybe a mother, a father, caregiver, a friend, either living or in spirit. And let's take a moment to remember and to honor the nurturing love and compassion you received. sensation of being cared for. Let's take in and appreciate this love. And if some sadness, pain, or loss arises, practice some kindness, patience, and understanding. And today, as we celebrate mother figures in our lives here and in spirit, the sacred feminine in all of us, and also honor the complex emotions that may come up. And perhaps today we could ask ourselves, how can we better nurture, care for, mother ourselves and others each and every day? Let us give thanks for the feminine, life-giving nature that lives within us all. And just taking another deep breath in and out as we return back to the room. For today is from Paramahansa Yogananda, and this was from a talk in a Mother's Day talk in 1941 that he gave. It said, nature with her diamond dazzling stars, the Milky Way, the flowers, trees, clouds, mountains, sky, the countless beauties of creation is the Divine Mother. In nature, you behold the mother aspect of God, full of beauty, gentleness, kindness, and tenderness. The beauty in the world bespeaks the creative, motherly instinct of God. And when we look upon all the good in nature, we experience a feeling of tenderness within us. We can see and feel God as mother in nature. Just love that. And we get to now stand for our fellowship song, and that is on page 11, Forgiveness Offers Everything. And we should have the songbooks again.
Forgiveness offers everything. Forgiveness offers
and use our namaste hands to greet everyone here today. Namaste, 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 and get to this. Welcome, Maury and Tamiko, for our music today.
Well, in honor of Mother's Day, we're going to do a song that I wrote for my mother. And I think it applies to all mothers, but also when I think of my own kids. So this is called For a Lifetime. Left my picture in the bedroom, poster on the wall. Didn't need to take your number, 'cause I memorized them all. I shut the door, said I'd be back. You said it's bittersweet, because you are a woman now. My job is complete. You hold my heart for a lifetime. Only for a moment you held my hand. You're my North Star, and when I drift off, fall to your there to help me stand. Piece it all together now, what was handed down. To you, to me, an eternity of wisdom from the clouds. The lips of mothers long ago sang those lullabies that ring somewhere inside of me when my own baby cries. You hold my heart for a lifetime. Only for a moment you held my hand. You're my North Star, and when I drift or fall to your there to help me stand. You hold my and if I fall, you're there to help me stand. You're there to help me stand.
Thank you. Another applause for Tamiko and Maury. Thank you. Oh, you're here? Not just a little near you. My goodness. It's time in our service when we will bless our tithes and offerings, and we are taught in A Course in Miracles that giving and receiving are one in truth. And every one of us benefits, and our community and the whole thrives because of your generosity. So thank you so much, and for this wonderful fellowship, to be all the things we've done for the last few years. And to now be able to be here in person and to be able to be with you as well on Facebook. So thank you all for your generous donations. And whether you blessing and multiplying our tithes and offerings. I joyously give, knowing I always have enough to share and to spare. And now we get to sing the song, "The Rest of My Life," on page 44. And please sing along at home too. That's such a beautiful song. Thank you, Corey, and everyone. Oh, beautiful, what a beautiful song. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our fearless leader and our just wonderful spiritual director, our own Reverend Mary Sabai.
Hello, everyone. We've got a nice group on Facebook watching, so we welcome them and thank you all for being here today. It's a beautiful day, and we all appreciate your dedication to being here, so thank you. So I find myself saying each Mother's Day and Father's Day, and I think Julie's already said it somewhat, is that our relationships with our mothers are one of the most powerful relationships we'll ever have in our lives, and one of the most complex. It seems that no matter how loving a mother relationship is with their child, there are always ups and downs. There are hurts and disappointments, and we make mistakes along the way. Last week, my oldest daughter had her 50th birthday, and I will have to tell you that was jarring. Quite jarring, it still is. But I started thinking about that span of 50 years. I am definitely not the same person I was 50 years ago when I had her, and she's not the same person that she was, of course. and so it's true with all of us. So to me, it just emphasized or started me focusing on the importance of keeping up with our unfolding, ours and our mothers and our children and really everyone. And everything that I'm going to say today applies to any relationship, really. But it's Mother's Day, so I'm going to approach it from that perspective. And even though, we know this, that we're always changing, it seems that our small ego minds have a tendency to lock down on those mistakes and hurts and wounds, and they keep us right there with that person at that time, frozen in time. And oftentimes we keep revisiting that. And we think to ourselves, because of our experience with someone, I know who you are. And this is who they are. And we have that, we create these stories in our minds around, who we believe people are and ourselves as well. And then when we look back at these and keep revisiting these events, we look back with the expectation that the choices made by ourselves or by our mothers or by our children would be the choices we would make now, 50 years later, 30 years later, 20 years later. But this is what I do know, for sure, as Oprah would say. We are always doing the best that we can with the minds that we have in that moment. And when we know better and are able to do better, we will do better. I think people leave that middle part out. When we know better, we'll do better, but we still need to have the wherewithal, the mind, the consciousness, the heart to actually do better. So that's an important reminder for all of us when we think about our mothers and our children and our good friends in our lives, anybody that we have an important relationship with. So I have a little reflection. Well, actually, I'm going to wait till the end, so we'll hold off on that. So as we mature spiritually, we go from a very conditional way of loving to and we're working toward and on loving unconditionally. And that's what we focus a lot on here at the fellowship. But it's generally not a straight path to unconditional love. We flip-flop back and forth. And hopefully we end up tipping the scales as we flip-flop toward the unconditional love. But it's also important to remember that God, our source, doesn't look at our lives and judge us as unworthy because we haven't lived our lives perfectly. It's like a child coming into the world. We don't expect them to know everything. They learn as they go along, and that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. So also important is that we're teaching, and we've heard this a lot as well. We're always teaching all the time. If I teach you that you are guilty with my words and actions, then I'm also teaching myself that I am guilty too. And if I can see you as a being that's not your mistakes, if I can see past that, if I cannot remember and remind myself that you're doing the best that you can possibly do right now in this moment, I can also know that I can do that for myself as well. it was important for me to remember at some point along the way that my mother had lessons to learn as well as myself. So do we, and so do our children. We all have these lessons, and our lessons impact each other. We facilitate each other's learning and give each other these opportunities to grow. Eckhart Tolle talks about relationship as, please don't go into a relationship or think of relationship as something that's just going to be perfect and peachy and wonderful and complete you and all of those sort of sappy kinds of things that we hear in movies. Rather, we can think of relationship as this coming together of souls, of beings, to give each other these amazing opportunities to grow and learn. Sometimes our mothers are only able to get us here, and that's all. One example is, my mother lost her mother at 5 years old. She passed. And that was very traumatic for my mom. She carried that with her, all of her life. And there are so many, just many kinds of scenarios where, our mothers aren't with us through our whole lifetime. But no matter what our experiences are with our mothers, we can always be grateful for the life given and for the opportunity to experience being human and being able to experience other humans and our beautiful planet. The other thing that's important to remember is that, and we say this all the time at the fellowship as well, we are always in the right place at the right time, being given exactly the perfect opportunities to expand our consciousness from our own perspective within. Those lessons, those opportunities that we need to awaken from that ego trance, we can choose love, and we can see each other as our perfect teachers. So as we always say, with every choice, we expand or contract our energy. We expand or contract our awareness. And as we all know, grievance, resentment, regrets, guilt separate us from each other and contract our energy. I was reading an article recently that had this, I think it's really beautiful. It was telling about sign language and what the sign language is for releasing or letting go, and it's this: putting your hand out, putting whatever it is that you want to release right there on your palm and letting it go. And also, and this is really beautiful as well, forgiveness, this sign for forgiveness is this. So we forgive and we let go. And that's, I think, a tool that we can use. We can remember that. It feels pretty good, even without having any particular event or person in mind, that just do it with me. Just put your hand out there and do that. It feels pretty good, doesn't it? Now imagine if you really took the effort to put something in the palm of your hand that has been haunting you for maybe years, and just said, okay, go on, and I forgive. On our own spiritual journey, our awareness journey is really what it is. We can't really do anything wrong. No one is doing anything wrong. It's all perfect for our learning and expanding. Opportunities to undo, as A Course in Miracles would tell us, undo the conditioning, letting go of all of those beliefs and thoughts that keep us stuck, locked back in time. So, my mother I'm going to say is, a perfect child of God and my perfect teacher. And I am a perfect child of God and my mother's perfect teacher. My children's perfect teacher, and they are my perfect teachers. One thing I'd like to also remind us is that once someone passes, they're still with us, and that healing and forgiveness and remembrance that they were here for their own lessons can bridge that divide that we humans put on living and death. And also we can only do this work for ourselves. We can't do others' work for them. We can only be an example. We can't expect others to arrive at the same point of awakening that we are in. And so, what do we do about that? I was doing some errands this morning and stopped to go through a coffee drive-through. And it was a really long line. And so I was just sitting there being patient, and I looked up, and right in front of me, there were 3 little trees, and they were kind of close to each other and kind of entangled in one another. The little tree on the right was just in full bloom. Those little fluffy snowballs, I don't know what those trees are. Does anybody? Craig, do you know what those trees are?
Willow?
No, it wasn't willow. They're all the little white. They're white and they're little balls, and they're really fluffy. It was just in all of its glory. And then the tree on my left was green, and the leaves were coming out. It was, clear that they hadn't reached full bloom yet, maybe halfway out, but it was really green. And the tree right in the middle was still bare. It had nothing, sticks and branches, but I could see some little buds. And as I was sitting there in this line, I had, a lot of time to imagine. And what I imagined the little tree in the middle saying to me was, I know, it's happening. I just need more time. And what I imagined the trees that were sort of enveloping it on both sides saying was, it's okay. It's okay. We'll be here for you. We are here for you. And that was such a perfect depiction of what I'm talking about. Sometimes people need more time. Sometimes we need more time. And, we can give that gift. So, I just jotted down some ways that we can allow people their path. That's number one. We can allow and give that gift of allowing others their path, and we can respect it and just give them the time that they need. We can reach out and in love regardless. So these are the times when we go to family gatherings, perhaps, and people are saying things that we don't agree with, and maybe they're poking at us about things. But we know now that we can see past that, and we can just be patient and give them time to grow and love them. My great aunt, this reminded me of her. She was up in her 80s. I was in my early 20s. And I know that she was really frightened about being alone. Just the idea that no one would come and visit her, and she would, spend a lot of time on her own. And her way of dealing with that was to tell people that if they came and spent more time with her, they would probably get something in her will. I'm not kidding. You know, and she owned 3 houses, and you know, and I remember in my early 20s being so put off by that. I felt so manipulated, and so my reaction, because that's what I was doing in my early 20s, reacting to external things that happened, I didn't go back very much. You know, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to feel pressured. I just, you know, so I didn't. And, you know, and now, of course, I would handle that a lot differently. And I would reach out and love, and I would just keep loving her. I would just keep hugging her and telling her, I'm here for you. And thinking in my mind, I will give you time. So we can demonstrate our love, and we can take every opportunity to love beyond our comfort level. What do you think about that? Love beyond our comfort level. And the other thing that we can do in closing is give ourselves credit for how far we've come. Thank you. I do have a little meditation here that kind of puts us in this space of what I was talking about. So, Corey, if you would, and I invite you to close your eyes. And we'll go within again and take a deep breath together, and the exhale, just release, relax. Breathing in and breathing out. Just feel the tension leave your body. Now let's drop our minds down into our hearts, giving our heart space our full attention. And just start breathing in and out from our heart space. In and out several times. So now I'm going to ask you to find a person in your life that you think you know. You know them inside and out. You know what they'll say and what they'll do. Maybe a mother, maybe a child, maybe it's you. See that you have enclosed them in a box that is your story about them, your story about you. Maybe see them frozen in a block of ice, trapped in the prison of your beliefs. The dense energy of your beliefs surrounding them. I know who you are. I know how you think. And I know what you'll do. And just feel that for a moment. And now just begin to allow that energy, that box, to loosen and fall away. Maybe see the ice melting. And the more that falls away, the easier it becomes, and it's effortless. It just begins to dissipate. Until there they are, standing before you as beloved children. a child of God. And now you see them with new eyes. And you allow them freedom to be who they are, to follow their path, to awaken in their own perfect timing. And you experience them with God's eyes and ears. And you see them with this beautiful, radiant white light just radiating out from them. And you can feel the love in your heart. And now I'm going to just invite you to step into the light with them. I'll be patient. I'm here for you. And feel that connection of love. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you so much.
We're going to do a song called Crowded Table, performed by the Highwaymen. We're not the Highwaymen, but it's been recorded by the Highwaymen. Maureen and Mama are going to perform it for you today. You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I can be your mountain when you're feeling valley low. I can be your street light showing you the way home. You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I want a house with a crowded table and a place I find for everyone. Let's save on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seeds, plant a little happiness, let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we'll reap. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. I want a house with a crowded table and a place I can find for everyone. Let's stay on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done.
wonderful. Thank you guys. Oh my gosh. Maury and Mom. Is that what your title is? Or
Maury and Mama, or Maury and Steve.
I love it. I love it. Oh, perfect on Mother's Day. Love it, love it. And let's see, we have just a couple of announcements. And you met last week. Terry was here, Terry Bedford, and she is doing a workshop on May 14th at the fellowship office at 2 o'clock. It's on stress reduction and immune support relief. So it should be a wonderful workshop, and she's been here before, so call the office and definitely put that on your calendars. We also have a Deaf Cafe scheduled for May 21st. That's also at 2 o'clock in the fellowship office. And I was just going to say, a few people mentioned they hadn't, if you haven't been to one, they have been going on since 2011. John Underwood and his mother started them in England, and they're now in over 70 some countries. There are numerous in, I think there's, how many states? In gosh, I had all the numbers here. There's over 5,400 monthly meetings, that are going on. And it essentially is just having casual discussions around death. And there's no planned agendas. And it's actually the Deaf Cafe format's objective is to increase awareness of death with a view to helping people make the most of their lives. And this survey of people who go say how they feel leaving is just more comfortable with the subject, which is hard for a lot of us. So please come. I've been doing them a couple years now, and I know they've helped me tremendously. So hope to see you there for that. And okay, that is it. And thank you just for another wonderful service. Mary, the message, there were so many good points to your talk there. And I love this, letting go and forgiving, just so many, and I jotted them down. So thank you very much. And Maury and Mom, Tamiko, thank you. Just always so excited when you're here. We're just blessed with your music. Corey, and of course, my gosh, we just love your music. Robert, Samantha, and did I get everybody? I think I did. And happy Mother's Day to all of you. And there's so many mothers and so many aspects that you do so much, whether it's your own mother or how you're caring for others. Just thank you so much. And thanks for coming here and spending this time with us today. And now we get to join our Peace Circle. And if you're online, make sure you're standing and having those arms up. The words are on the back if you're new to our song. And then we'll end with our closing blessing.
You pose it.
of God is within us.